What is up, guys? Home Hustlers is back, and today I'm going to be explaining what wholesaling real estate is. Again, I'm driving, I'm sorry, but we got things to do. What is wholesaling? A lot of people ask this question, a lot of people don't understand. Wholesaling is the ability to take a motivated seller and you match them with a cash buyer or an investor, and you make the money in the middle. I'm going to give you a quick example. You get a house for $100,000, you sell it to your cash buyer or investor for $120,000, and you make $20,000 difference. Now, how to go from that, get a house for $100 and sell it for $120, everything in the middle is really what you need to understand and learn. The concept of what I just explained is super simple and straightforward. Everybody gets it. What everybody doesn't get is how the middle piece works, and that is the most important, because each time you close a deal, each time you get a new deal, it's going to be completely different than the last one. There's no way, there's no cookie cutter deal. There's no such thing. I've closed a zillion different types of deals, even though they're all essentially the same way. You know, they all have a motivated seller and a cash buyer involved. One, the buyer buys the asset and I make the money in the middle, but how I make the money is different in every scenario. And there's multiple ways to do things, because that's just what real estate is about. Real estate is never one way. Real estate is creative. It's a form of art, essentially. That's how I look at it. And there's never one way to skin a cat. So with that being said, there's a few key items that good wholesalers will need. And that is the ability to calculate an ARV. You should be writing this down. The ability to calculate an ARV, and the ARV stands for after repair value. Number two is the ability to calculate repair costs when you view a property. That is crucial, guys. It's crucial. If you tell your cash buyer or investor, yeah, this house only needs $35,000 in repairs, we're going to make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. Well, you shouldn't tell them that. But if you go to your cash buyer or investor and say, this property only needs $35,000 worth of repairs, they view the property, it needs $55,000, they're going to never trust you again. They're going to look at you like you're crazy, and it's just not going to be good. So the ability to calculate the proper repair cost is crucial, guys. It's crucial. Also, every good wholesaler has the ability to properly calculate the after repair values. Now, how do you find after repair values? I will explain that in a separate video, because it needs its own video. But for now, I'm just going to touch on the basics of what wholesaling is, how it works. You guys already have the main concept, as I explained a few minutes ago. If you take a motivated seller, match them with a cash buyer, investor, whatever. Cash buyer and investor, by the way, is the same term. It depends on the deal. Some sellers of properties will only take cash buyers. Some sellers will allow financing from investors. Depends on the size of the deal, what type of deal it is. But that's why I say cash buyer or investor. A lot of people interchange them, but to me, they're a little bit different. So you take a motivated seller, match them with a cash buyer, you make the difference in the middle. Now, the difference in the middle is all depending on your numbers. And obviously, the number one mistake that I see wholesalers make, besides the fact of them not knowing the numbers of the ARV and the repair costs, is the number one mistake that I see is wholesalers paying too much for properties. And when I say paying, you guys are probably like, oh, I thought you said it requires no money, no credit, blah, blah, blah. I don't literally mean paying. I'm not paying cash. I'm not paying anything. You get a property, what they call under contract. And that's essentially what it sounds like. It's literally, you sign your name on a piece of paper, they sign their name on a piece of paper. It's an agreement that you're going to purchase this property for X amount of dollars, and that's your A to B contract. You can either You can either sell that contract or you can double close. I will explain all of this in separate videos. I know this is probably a little confusing at this point, but all you need to know right now, all you need to take in is you have a motivated seller, a cash buyer, or an investor. You pair them together, you make the money in the middle, and that's all that matters, guys. That's all that matters. You rinse and repeat, you rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat several times a month. Next thing you know, you're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, living a freedom lifestyle. It's literally as simple as that, and I kid you not. These deals can take place within the same week if everything is aligned. Depending on your seller, depending on your buyer, they can be strung out for 2 to 3 weeks, you know, from the time you get the contract to the time you actually close on the deal. Title work needs to be done, you know, from the title company, which can take a few days. So there's things involved, but essentially you can do multiple deals at the same time, so you can close 2, 3, 4, 1 deal a month, you know. How does an extra $5,000 to $10,000 sound every month? You can easily make that on one deal, easily, all day. I think that's actually the average, between $5,000 and $10,000 for a wholesaler on an average size deal, at least where I'm at in South Florida. So again, number one mistakes for wholesalers is not calculating the ARV properly, not calculating the repair cost properly, and then paying too much for the property. And when I say paying, again, I'm not physically talking about handing cash over. I'm talking about per the contract that you sign. You're agreeing to pay too much money, and essentially you're not going to pay it. Your end buyer, cash investor, cash buyer or investor, is going to be paying that price where you make the money in the difference. So I'm going to break it down one more time for you, one more time really quick so you get it. Motivated seller, cash buyer or investor, pair them together. You get the contract from your motivated seller for $100,000, let's say. You go to your cash buyer, you sell it for $120,000. You're making $20,000. Your cash buyer comes to the table, closes the deal, pays $120,000. The seller gets $100,000. You walk away with $20,000. Essentially, that is exactly how it works in a nutshell. Now, it's time to learn the middle details, the pieces that actually matter, the pieces that change, the pieces that become variables. Those are the pieces that really matter. For the purpose of this video, I just wanted to keep it very vague, very simple, and that's really it, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, share this video, tell people about it. I'm going to give you every piece of information that you possibly need to close a real estate deal, or close a wholesale deal. It's really as simple as that, guys. It's really as simple as that. Again, like, subscribe, share, learn. Get a pad and paper, learn. That's the key. Learn and apply. Learn and apply. I'm out. Home Hustlers is out. I will see you guys next video.